Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how busy docs can take 1 hour and get themselves set up for the summer. Okay, this is big news, right? So everybody's busy, you're tired, you don't want to have anything ready because your plate is full. So there's something called cognitive load. How full is your brain? It's full, right? So cognitive load, if you want to think about it, it's a dinner plate, right? It is what's on your plate. So are you planning meals? Are you planning uh, what? Do that. That might help a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you hear me better. Okay, so this video is for busy docs who want to take 1 hour to plan their summer, to make a difference, to feel intentional, to feel like they know how to say no to what does not matter. Okay, these are things we do not learn in med school. We do not learn in residency. We don't learn in fellowship. It's like, how do we find what's important right now to us immediately today and put it into action without taking more time? Because what we don't learn is a goal setting system, set the tactics, get it done, and what to say no to, because that's just as important. What to say no and how to say no. So we will talk about 5 areas where we can get more intention, some focus to save time, to be able to say no easier. That does not interest me at this time. I'm using this line from the Pope. He said this recently, the Pope. Yes, I'm quoting the Pope. He said, does he want to talk with Trump? He said, that does not interest me right now. What a great way to say no. So let's just use that line. That does not interest me right now. Well, what does interest us? So sometimes as busy docs, we know what we don't want to do, but do you know what you want? Because it's just like GPS. Like, how do we get there without knowing what we want, right? So let's start with our values. Have you ever done a value exercise where you know exactly what's important to you? This is what I do with my docs that I coach. I coach docs one on one. Dr. Mary Rensel own a business called Brain Fresh. I help docs find joy and brightness in their professional journey because it's allowed. It's allowed to have joy and brightness, some hope for the future. I see a lot of docs that are just toast. Things are hard. They're overwhelmed. They have no time. They don't have time to put into themselves, their own professional development, to even take 15 minutes and figure out what is going on, what's important to them right now. I had to get to the point personally where I was so angry that I was like slamming my fist down and walking out of meetings and like thinking like, what is going on? So I had to go through a lot of literature. I didn't have to, but I was like, there must be an answer. There must be a system that we have that we can put into place, right? As docs, like we learn about the human body, we learn about human behavior, but we don't learn the professional journey. Like you're done, like you graduated, you're a resident, you're a fellow, toodaloo. Okay, that's just, and then you have 30, 40 years or 10, 15 years for a lot of docs because they're just leaving because they don't see an option to figure out how to find what matters to them at this moment. So that's why we're here. We'll figure this out. Okay. So if you're interested in value assessment, I'll put a link in the video of a really great one, or we do it together in one-to-one coaching. It's really important for my coach, the docs I coach, we have like a desktop form that we put in our core values, we put in our professional qualities that we're after, we figure out our Clifton strengths and the positive and negatives, they call them, the basement and balconies of our strengths. So it's like, who are you? So often as docs, we're sitting across from patients and we're figuring out who the patients are, all the details of their history, so we can hope to help guide them along their health journey, right? So we take all this data and we're like, who is this person? What's important to them? What have they been through? What do they need for the future? But you know what we don't do is for ourselves. We don't do that for ourselves. Like, who are we? What's important to us? What have we tried? What's working? What's not working? How do we set up a system that helps us? I went to so many and knocked on so many doors of docs and mentors and people I really respected in healthcare. I was like, how do you do it? And they said, how do you do what? It's like a whole life. Like, how do we run our life as docs? Like, I don't get it. I wanted a system. I wanted a playbook. So that's what I built. in Brain Fresh because I wanted it myself. And I looked in business literature and health economics and psychology and looked around like who's doing what? Who's doing something cool that can help us? And a lot of times we think business is bad, medicine is good. We are in healthcare, we are good, business is bad. But business has figured out about professional development and changing jobs and building skills and how to set goals. I just never learned any of that. Did you put it in the comments? Yes. Goal setting, no problem. I on my Clifton strengths, I'm more of like a learner and I like insights, I like connections, but I'm not very good with tactics, details like that. That's not my strong point. So I had set up a system that worked for me. And again, I just took different resources and I built it. And this is what I do with my docs that I coach. Okay, so join me. First step in coaching always is what are your values? What's important to you right now? It depends what's going on in your world on what's important. Sometimes it's your health. Sometimes you're an active patient, even as a doc, right? Sometimes it's your health that needs attention. Sometimes it's family members' concern, mental health challenges all over the place for us, for our patients, for our family, for our communities. And that's ongoing, right? I just saw a patient recently who is telling me about challenges with her daughter who has bipolar and is now living with them, and just the challenge of navigating that. It's challenging for her. It's stressful. Of course, you want your child to be healthy and living a full life as best as they can. She was just very challenged by that situation in her life. So, what's going on? What's important to you now? Is it what's going on personally, professionally, in your community, globally? What matters to you right now? So, this is what we have to list. And this is what we do on our desktop summary. Just make it clear, right? Because you don't have to come in knowing the answers when you get coached. You come in knowing that you want something to be different. A lot of times, docs are saying, I don't know. I just don't know what's important. I just want to make sure I'm not wasting my time. Or sometimes they come in, like one doc was like, her goal was she wanted to relax more with her kids. She was just always busy, busy, busy. She wanted to figure out how she can set a plan. Number one, she wanted to start a new business, open her own business as a doc, but also be there for the family. And those two had similar goals, as she wanted to be intentional with her life. Another doc wanted to work 10 to 2. That was her thing. She's just like, she wanted to work. She just didn't want to work all day and all night. Fair, fair, right? One doc wanted more beach chairs in her life. Last time she was on vacation, she was walking on the beach and she was like, and she saw someone setting up beach chairs and she was like, I want to do that job. She just wanted to be on the beach more. So that you have to have goals like what brings you joy? What brings you delight? What helps you just get that little smile? Like, is that even possible for me? The answer is yes, it is possible for you. Yes. Yes, with intention. Whatever you focus on gets bigger. So if we focus on all the things that we can't do, things we can't find in healthcare, when you're working as a doc and you're hitting a wall, all the can'ts and the won'ts and the everything's getting smaller, less resources, do more with less. What about the world getting bigger? Filling with things, your world, your life with things that you delight in. Okay, so we start with values. We go to professional qualities. What is important to you? Again, I have these exercises. If you want them, just DM me and say yes and send me the link. What are the professional qualities that are important to you? And then what we do is you take your calendar, take your phone if you're or I have this written calendar, which I actually thought, oh, you can't see it because I'm blurred. If I get real close. Anyway, it's really detailed. It is a Cambridge 12-month, 52-week planner. Love this thing, but super detailed down to the 15 minutes. So I put in what's important. I make sure what's important is in there to me. So I set my values. What's important right now? And then look at your calendar. Are your values in here? Are you living toward what's important to you right now? Maybe it's your calendar's in your phone. Is it working for you? Is your week filled with things that are important to you? Now, if you're working, it's work, right? So work is work. So you're not always thrilled to be doing work. It's work. Okay, let's acknowledge that. But are there parts of your work day that you're like, oh, yeah, that's really going to make a difference for a person or your team or your community. You see the meaning, you see the purpose behind your work. As long as 20% of your work is meaningful, you believe it? We keep going. That's satisfying. So work is work. Okay, let's just acknowledge work is work. Okay. But also, if you have some high points, some things that bring you energy in your day. So look at your calendar. Are your values in your calendar? Steve Kerr, the amazing head coach of another team I won't mention because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. But he talked about bringing values to life, like live it. If you're saying your health is important, are you living it? Would people know, like they think of you like, yeah, you could tell that's important, or she says yes or no according to that value? Or is your family important to you, but you have no time for your family because work is taking up all your day and night? That's something to note. We have to know the facts, right? And then we have to put in what's most important to us. Is your community right now political stance and what's happening globally and what's happening in our communities? That's important to me. So I'm putting that into my life. I could just read about it, but I wanted to put it into action. So now it's in my calendar. My family's in my calendar. My work is in my calendar. My community is in my calendar because that's important to me. And my health. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, no question. That's a non negotiable, right? Okay. So we've talked about the importance of figuring out your values, know professional qualities that are important to you. I have exercises for these. So just DM me if you would like them. I'm glad to share. And then look at your calendar. Are you living your values? Steve Kerr, the amazing basketball coach, said, live your values, bring them to life. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to build a team. He wanted kindness. He wanted community. So someone recommended him, like, bring it to life. If those are your values as a new coach, he was wondering how to do it and how to really build an amazing team. So, well, you have to bring your values to life. You can't just talk about being an amazing person, an amazing coach. You need to do it. So he said he would, let them practice with music and have fun and build a community and celebrate each other and be there for each other during tough times. So it was a community. It was a safe family-like environment for the team. And then excellence, that was important to him too. Practice, excellence, accountability, all of that was important too. So he had to bring all of those to life so people knew exactly what he stood for. Makes sense, right? Value is important. Values are a line in the sand. If someone's asking us to cross them, that's where I had that anger when I was banging my hand on the table. Because I knew, like, this is not what's important to me. This is not how I think things should go. Now, I'm not always the decider at work, right? Like, I don't decide everything. I'm working there. So I have to be careful about my own values and work values. I have to be aware, just aware of them. And when I have time and flexibility over my time, I put in what's important to me, right? Okay. So values, super important. They're our line in the sand. Steve Kerr, bring them to life. Professional qualities. What's important to you at work? How do you want to act at work? What's important? Because sometimes then you realize why something is bothering you. If excellence is important to you, research is important to you, innovation is important to you, teamwork is important, but you're not seeing those things, that may be why, like, oof, if something feels off. That's why this awareness really matters. Again, as docs, we're used to investigating patients, their labs, their imaging, their background, their social situation. So we evaluate all this, but we don't do it for ourselves. Why is that? It's time to. It's a new day. We got this, right? It doesn't take a long time. What I'm saying is this workshop that I run in Brain Fresh, it's an hour. It could be an hour and a half, but if we stay tight, we can get a lot done in an hour. We can set ourselves up for success. So sometimes I do mini coaching sessions one-on-one for an hour. It gets someone all teed up, ready to go. Where are you with your values? Where are you with your professional qualities that are important to you? What's your calendar looking like? Are you living your values? Next is purpose. There's wonderful ways to figure out your current purpose. Why? Simon Sinek has all kind of books talking about our why. He's not the first one that's talked about this. Why do we do something? Now, a wonderful TED talk I heard, and I can link it in the video, talked about, like, how do you make people feel? Because you can do that in many ways, in many different roles in your life, right? So I like to help people feel empowered with resources. I like to be the bridge, like connect them to resources. So I hope I'm doing that for you right now. And with my Brain Fresh Today YouTube channel, it's for women docs and others that are interested in learning how neuroscience can help further people. So we can use it in a positive sense to shine light and joy in our professional journey. So, purpose. How do you make people feel when you're with them? At home, at work, in your community? How do you make people feel? I mean, I hope I make people feel hopeful and informed and empowered with new resources. That's what I hope. And I do that in many ways. I do that with my family and my friends, and my community, and at work, of course. But that's my purpose. So, my purpose I can do many places. I don't have to be at work. My identity at work is not only the only thing where I share resources. So, how do people feel after they work with you? After they're with you, after you're chatting with a friend in a coffee shop? How do they feel after being with you? This morning, my husband was listening to some YouTube, and it was just people talking about negative life, how negative their life is, how they have no resources. It's like, well, why do we want this message around us? If someone's looking and searching, like, I love being the one that connects people to resources. I may not have the answer, but I can connect them to the resources. So, people are in hard times. People are busy. We talked about cognitive load. What are you thinking about day to day? We have to think about nutrition, our own health, our family health, our community health, our work, our laundry, our shopping for nutrition. How do we get good nutrition in? What's going on in the world? What's going on in our communities? There's a lot on our plates. So, how do we intentionally put things on or take things off and focus on what matters? This is why I set this goal and tactic system up, because there was just too much to do. So now I just do one little thing each week toward one of my 3 buckets of my goals, and it works so nicely. So this is what I do with my docs that I coach. Just focus for a bit. Right now things come at us so fast. It's really hard to focus. And we've lost a lot of our focus. Like, it's less than it used to be because things come at us so fast. And that's okay. We can rebuild it. That's that neuroplasticity, like our brain, our amazing brain in between our ears. We can use what we know about neuroscience to build our focus, because whatever we focus on gets bigger. So, like that YouTube video my husband was listening to this morning was talking about all the negatives. So if you're focused on negatives, you're going to see negatives. So I've heard some researchers talk about this, and business experts talk about this, is what you focus on gets larger. So some people suggest every day, go find 3 beautiful things on your way to work. So I do that now, just patterns that are pretty. I look at leaves, the way the sun's shining, the way the clouds are, the way the snow is if it's snowy. Just 3 interesting things on my way to work. Somebody else recommended just a color. Pick a color a day. Look for things that are yellow, because it'll just change your perception a little bit. You'll focus on things you just hadn't seen before. So you can take control of what you're focusing on each day, right? So we do this with the docs that I coach. Value, professional qualities. Look at our calendars. Are we living our values? What's our purpose? How do we make people feel? What do you think? Put it in the chat. You make people feel. I would love to hear. Okay, then how do we boost our creativity, our solution-based thinking? How do we work with our brain? People say we need to be engaged. I feel like some days we need to engage our brain, like bring it a little ring. Here, brain, I promise in sickness and health to be with you from this day forward. Okay, so what are we doing for the brain today? Are we giving it good hydration, good nutrition? Are you helping it see positive things? Are you with friends or families? Are you out socially? So this is what the brain loves. It loves being out and about and seeing things and learning new things and being cared for. It's literally stuck between your ears. It can't get out and care for itself. So it tries to encourage you to do things, but it also sometimes puts on the brakes because it demands a lot of our nutrition, our energy, at 20%. So it's not 20% of our body, right? It's only a couple pounds. But it takes a lot of metabolic energy for it to keep going. So sometimes if we have a big idea, a great idea, it'll say, no, don't do that. That's going to be horrible. It's not going to go well. That's always generally our first reaction is no, 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 no. That's crazy. Like, even just coming to a workshop, a woman doc, thinking about, like, I'm going to take an hour. I'm going to figure out my next 3 months in this hour. Like, there's a lot of reasons that you said, no, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy, I have to do this and that and this. Of course, your brain is like, no, I don't want to do anything else. But a lot of times, the planning, you're actually taking a lot of things off that plate of yours, that cognitive load, because you're not going to focus on these other things while you're living this intentionally, right? Setting goals, setting tactics a little bit each week. If you do that for 3 months, you can, one little thing each week. My goodness, you can make a big difference, right? Think about a whole year of that. Even if you're not perfect, you do half of it. It's more than doing zero, right? Okay. So, creativity boosters. Number one, just deep breaths. Nice deep breaths. Number two, just change your perception. Each day, look for three nice things or look for a color a day. Pick a different color each day so that you are looking at something differently. Just help your brain see something differently. And then I like the warm approach to the brain, so W is water, so you stay hydrated. Active, A is active, so that you're moving around. The R is rest, you're sleeping, brains need sleep. M is movement and moods. So what are our moods? Just acknowledge them. They're like the weather. They go by. There's our moods, like clouds flying by in the sky. We just notice. We're not judging. There's a lot of judgment in social media, etc. Like I hate the word ugly crying because it's judging that crying is ugly. Crying is just an emotion. It's releasing energy and releasing emotions, either happy or sad, but see that ugly crying is a judgment on it. And I don't think there's any place for judging emotions. Obviously, we have to manage our own emotions in public and maybe in private as well. Um, but managing, so there's of course something called EQ, so emotional intelligence. You have to be aware of your own emotions, you have to be able to manage your own emotions, and hopefully then you also can be intuitive to others' emotions. But we start with self first, right? So we know our own emotions, we see them. So another suggestion is just write down three emotions for a week or two in the middle of your workday, at the end of your workday, beginning of your workday. Just write them down. Like, how am I feeling? A lot of times that will help our awareness. We just don't have that emotional awareness because we're running around, right? But it doesn't even take a minute to write down three emotions. So you got it. Those are our creativity boosters. Deep breath. So we're working our neuroscience towards our advantage. So it helps our neuroscience see more solutions, helps our brain see solutions when we use these creativity boosters. Deep breaths, good rest, appetite, hydration. Write down your emotions. Those moods matter. Just write them down. Just be aware. And then the three bucket approach. So that is a goal system that I use. What are the three areas that are most important to you now? Are they health, your personal health? Is it career transitions? Is it a family member? Is it I need to slow down? Sometimes I need to get off my phone more. So I took pottery classes and did things with my hands, or I was off my phone. Yes, you could get addicted to your phone. 100%. I think we all know this. It's bad. Anyone can. Even when you know how the brain becomes addicted, even if I study that, which as I did, you still can. It's just too much. It's too accessible. They've used all the things on the phone um, that they've learned from gambling. So, colors and changing it up and giving rewards once in a while, and then all the negative information because it's a threat. Like we want to know what's going on with all that negative emotions. Um, so anyway, it's the creativity boosters that helps us just take a break, put a pause, give our brain what it needs to see new solutions. Okay, because that's what we're doing here. We're seeing new solutions, we're helping it focus, we're supporting it so we can make an impact in this world. Use your gifts and strengths to, help this world. The world has a lot of challenges, so we need to put our brain in the best place so we can use our gifts and strengths for what you can do. You can't do everything, but you can use your gifts and strengths today, right? That's what we're here for. It's just helping you live to your fullest and keeping life interesting and fun, right? And that you feel like you matter because you do. And there are things that you can do to make a difference. So the three bucket approach, you look at your goals and you choose maybe you say the categories. So choose three things. Maybe it's personal health, maybe it's family, unity, maybe it's fun. I coach a lot of women docs literally just on fun because they've just left that in the background for when there's time and then there's no time. They just haven't found the time to prioritize fun. Well, that is no good because life is short, and so we need to, be intentional about what we want in our lives. And they wanted more fun, so we worked on that together, and it was great. We made it happen. Or, like I said, the one doc, she wanted to make sure she was having fun with her kids and focusing on them when they were relaxing. So she was noticing, like, if she was watching a movie with them, she'd be on her phone or answering emails, and she thought, like, I'm not really with them. I'm sitting next to them, but I'm telling them that I'm not paying attention or laughing with them or having fun with them. So she didn't want that. She wanted to be fully present with her kids. So we were working on some things to help that. So the three buckets, you can decide what yours are. I like to think of three buckets like when you're making a decision, like you throw something in the bucket. So if somebody asks me to be on a committee or plan a walk for, the American Heart Association or volunteer here or be on this advisory board or something, I have to see, like, does it fit in can I throw it in one of my buckets? If no, like, nope, I'm not interested in that right now. We're going to use the Pope's line. I'm just not interested in that right now. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Or you recommend somebody. I know somebody looking for that kind of opportunity. Like I just did the other day, somebody asked me to be on an advisory board, and I recommended another doc, a younger doc, and he was excited about having that opportunity because I wasn't interested in that right now. And that makes it just so much easier. Thanks to the Pope for that wonderful line. Okay. And then how do we save our time? Well, whatever we do, we say yes to the three buckets and no to everything else. And then when I coach folks, we have a really clear 12-week plan. We have the three buckets and then the tactics, one tactic each week. And we just put in at least 4 for each buckets over the 12 weeks. And there you go. You have it all designed. So you're making moves toward those goals. You're taking actions towards the goals. And when you show your brain you're taking action, the brain's like, ooh, I can do this. You're showing it that, and you're building neural pathways as you try something new each week. So it feels more confident, feels more ready. So here we go. Busy docs. I know your plate is full. I know your cognitive overload is real. I know you have no time, money, energy, any of it. But in order to live and build a really fun, full life, full of meaning of what's important to you at this time, these are things we never learned in med school or residency or fellowship. That's what I do in Brain Fresh. So reach out if you like one-on-one sessions. This is what I do, or we do group sessions, or join the membership. I call it Fresh Spring MD. So we're springing forward together. It's a kind, compassionate place. So jump on in. I'll put the link below as well. So let me know which one you're going to try. You're going to figure out your values, your purpose, your professional qualities. Are you going to look at your week? Do your values come to life, or do you need to bring those to life? How are you going to change your creativity boosters, those to find more solutions? You've learned a lot of tools. You've learned about deep breath because it tells your nervous system you're okay. You've learned about perception. So in the morning, look for 3 pretty or interesting patterns or a color a day just for a new perception. You'll see things you really didn't notice before when you do that. It's really cool. I highly recommend it. And also, prioritizing what the brain needs because it's stuck between your ears. So we have to engage it in sickness and in health for the rest of our days. Take care of it, give it what it needs so that it can help you find the energy to keep planning. And you're going to show it success with these small tactics each week. You're going to set your 3 buckets of goals and then the tactics for 12 weeks, and you have your whole quarter planned. Look at you. You did it. It saves time, it saves energy, it saves your cognitive load. And people are going to be like, what are you doing differently? How do you do so much? And you're thinking in your head, like, I'm actually doing less. I'm saying no to a lot of things. I'm just doing what's important to me right now. And again, we just set it up for the quarter for a couple months at a time. And if something's important differently next quarter, then you just set it up accordingly. You can change your 3 bucket system. You got this. And then you keep your sheet. If you want all this, just let me know. We can have another session together one-on-one and set this up together. And then you're set for 3 months. And then you have to, as you do these little things, it's like crossing a river with little river stones. If you see a big river and you need to get to the other side, how are you going to cross it? You want to set stones pretty close to each other, small stones, so that you can get across the river safely. Well, when you're setting your goals And then your tactics, you can set goals, but you have to figure out how you're going to get it done. Those are the tactics that you're going to do at least 4 of each of the buckets. You have 12 things over 12 weeks, one thing a week, one small thing. Your brain will see success because you're trying something, and don't forget to celebrate. Tell someone what you did because that's huge. Or feel free to share it on Brain Fresh Today, YouTube. I'd love to hear all about it. Tell me your successes. And then it's like when you're crossing a river, then the stones are close and they're safe and they're flat because you've set this system up so you can cross the river. And then you show your brain, like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can make some moves, even though I'm busy and I have a lot going on, but now you have a focus. This really helped me because I was not a detail person. Okay, so put it in the comments. What was your favorite? And thanks for listening. And like and subscribe to Brain Fresh Today. And I'll keep videos coming for women docs to just keep on rocking it, and other busy professionals who want to know how to work with their neuroscience, how to engage it. As a busy leader, as a team lead, I talk a lot about, helping your team because it's never you, right? It's always your team. Don't worry. We got you. Okay. You got this. Stay well and stay in touch.